Hey guys, welcome to the channel, another video. Today I'm going to be watching Amadeus by Milos Forman, starring F. Murray Abraham. Forman was an excellent director and I have watched two of his films before. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest on the channel, so do check that out when you have the time. And also Man on the Moon, one of my three favorite Jim Carrey films, the other two being The Truman Show and Eternal Sunshine. About Amadeus, I don't really know who else is starring in it apart from Abraham, and I don't know anything about the plot too, except that it's about Mozart's life. I vaguely heard about this film growing up. I know that it won a bunch of awards and it's regarded as a classic. Apparently there are different versions of the film, but I'm watching the 3-hour-long director's cut. It's from the Blu-ray, so it's the only version I could get my hands on. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reviews and reactions to this film and over 120 movies, TV shows, early access, and weekly polls for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below, by the way. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you liked this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. Amadeus, Forman, Abraham. Let's go. It's obviously a period piece set in the late 1700s when Mozart was active, I'm guessing.
Signore, we have something special for you. Something you're going to love. This is the most delicious thing I ever ate in my life.
Whoever's in that room is having serious problems. Yeah, something definitely happened inside. Ooh, F. Murray Abraham. He's not playing Mozart? I thought he'd be Mozart. Amadeus. Director's cut, okay. Just to make it clear, they have it in big, bold fonts. Yeah, I can I can imagine a lot of classical music being used in this film, obviously, mostly by Mozart, I'm guessing. F. Murray Abraham is definitely not playing Mozart, because he just confessed to killing him, whatever that means. Psychiatric hospital.
Herr Salieri?
Salieri. Salieri was also a composer, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't heard his music though. And he's being shown to start losing his mind. Great makeup on him. Looks fairly convincing.
Leave me alone.
I cannot leave alone a soul in pain. Offer me your confession. I can offer you God's forgiveness.
Absolution? Is that something he's interested in?
You must know this.
I can't say that I do.
He's insulted?
What is it?
It was a very popular tune in its day. I wrote it.
Oh, he's definitely insulted.
This one brought down the house when we played it first.
I think he's still lost in his heyday. Oh, it's a flashback. In his younger years, when he was actually famous.
I regret it is not too familiar.
Can you recall no melody of mine? I was the most famous composer in Europe. What about this one?
I've heard this.
Yes, I know that.
That's not him, I think.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you wrote that.
Me neither. I thought it was...
I didn't.
There you are. That's Mozart.
That was Mozart. Wolfgang.
Amadeus.
Amadeus. Mozart.
The man you accuse yourself of killing.
You've heard that?
Is it true? If you have something to confess, do it now.
That's a great performance from Abraham in this scene.
Was my idol.
Oh.
Mozart. I was still playing childish games when he was playing music for kings and emperors, even the Pope in Rome, but of his father, who had taught him everything. My father You did not care for music.
Yeah, I'm hearing hints of jealousy already.
How could I tell him what music meant to me? Lord, make me a great composer. Let me celebrate your glory through music. Make me famous through the world, dear God. Make me immortal. In return, I will give you my chastity, my industry, my deepest humility, every hour of my life.
Wow.
And do you know what happened?
His father dies.
My life changed forever.
He seems happy.
That was obvious. One minute I was a frustrated boy. The next I was here. And Emperor Joseph, the musical king. In a few years, I was his court composer. Isn't that incredible? Actually, the man had no ear at all. But what did it matter? He adored my music.
I'm now wondering whether he's an unreliable narrator or not. Whether we're meant to believe what he's saying.
Work and work and work. That was all my life. And it was wonderful. Everybody liked me.
Is the priest losing his patience?
I liked myself.
That's great acting by this actor as well.
He came to Vienna to play some of his music.
Dude, the camera work is insane. Is that chocolate, which was very rare back in the day? I'm guessing this is Mozart? It's interesting how Forman is still not showing Mozart, only talking about him in a third person.
Now we're going back.
No!
Yes.
No!
Listen, you don't know where you are.
Oh, I'm not gonna marry you. You're a fiend.
Owie volai tub.
He's being shown as a goofball.
My music. They've started without me.
And he's surprised to learn that Mozart is a goofball. He always thought of Mozart as a serious person, talented from birth. Oh, look at all the fake hair. I wonder what they used to make this fake hair with. Like animal fur?
That was Mozart.
Immeasurable disappointment.
Why do I have to be humiliated in front of my guests by one of my own servants?
If His Grace is not satisfied with me, he can dismiss me.
Oh, attitude.
I have no intention of dismissing you. You will remain in my service and learn your place.
Oh! Showed his butt to the emperor. What a risky joke.
On the page, it looked nothing.
Telling the story of Mozart from a jealous rival is very interesting.
This was a music I had never heard. It seemed to me that I was hearing a voice of God.
Wow.
Excuse me.
It almost moved him to tears. Music can do that.
It was not to be believed. This piece had to be an accident. But had to be.
How good is he, this Mozart?
I thought it the most promising work I've heard in years.
In my opinion, sir, it's time we had a piece in our own language.
I think it's an interesting notion to keep Mozart in Vienna, Majesty.
There it is.
Wow, what a beautiful piano.
They're all so beautiful. Why don't I have 3 heads?
May I play it when he comes in?
Look how flamboyant Mozart is.
Good, continue. G.
I don't think the guards even realize that's Mozart. Actually a decent piece of music.
I know your work well, Signore. I actually composed some variations on a melody of yours.
He has a very distinctive laugh. It's almost annoying.
Tell him, Mozart. Name us a German virtue.
Love, sire.
This is yours.
Keep it, Majesty, if you want. It's already here in my head.
Show us.
You don't have a reputation like that if you don't have the talent to back it up. Damn. Jealousy, even more jealousy, hidden under a thin veil of a smile.
Better? What do you think?
Such an insult to a court composer like that. Improving your work in front of the majesty. I think the actor is actually doing the work, which is very impressive.
All I ever wanted was to sing to God. He gave me that longing. And then made me mute.
I love how this film is structured. A flashback.
I heard you met Mozart.
The first thing she's interested in is Mozart.
Shall we continue?
Oh, she's already working with Mozart. Oh, you can see the anger in Salieri's face. Mozart isn't what I pictured him at all these years.
I couldn't bear to think of anyone else touching her. Least of all, the creature.
Is that what he's calling Mozart now? The creature. I wonder what the budget was for this film. Everything looks period appropriate and so well made.
Occasionally, it seems to have, how should one say?
Extravagance?
Too many notes, Your Majesty.
Exactly. Very well put. Too many notes. I think I'm right in saying that, aren't I, court composer?
He's gonna agree for sure.
Yes.
She is the fiancée of Herr Mozart.
Really?
What a goof.
Excuse me, but, how old are you?
26.
My advice is for you to marry this charming young lady and stay with us in Vienna.
Dear Mozart, my sincere congratulations.
Did you like it then?
How could I not? What was God up to? Was it possible I was being tested? My heart was filling up with such hatred for that little man.
Yeah, I think he thinks God is playing a joke on him.
Every day, sometimes for hours, I would pray. Send him away for his sake, as well as mine.
His jealousy is turning into almost vengeance.
I'm coming to Vienna. Take no further steps towards marriage until we meet.
He didn't listen. He got married.
Remember how you've always told me Vienna is the city of musicians? To conquer here is to conquer Europe? With my wife, I could do it.
But I don't understand why the father didn't want him to marry.
She has asked me to advise her on a suitable musical instructor.
Oh, Your Majesty, it would be such a tremendous honor.
I was thinking of Herr Mozart.
Is to protect you from any hint of favoritism.
Then why doesn't he simply appoint me to the post?
You are not the only composer in Vienna.
No, but I'm the best.
Interesting. He sees himself as the best.
How are we supposed to live, Wolfie? Do you want me to go in the streets and beg?
I've come on behalf of my husband.
Okay, I don't quite follow.
He doesn't know I'm here.
Oh?
Then he didn't send you?
We really need this job. Money simply slips through his fingers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I understand that. When you're that ridiculously talented, you don't care about other earthly things. Dude, Abraham can act. Look at his subtle facial expressions.
These were first and only drafts of music. But they showed no corrections of any kind.
He almost wrote them perfectly in the first try.
Here again was the very voice of God.
Is it not good?
It's divine.
One word from me and the post is his. Come back tonight. Some service deserves service in return.
Oh man, that's low.
No? It's up to you.
Stepped on Mozart's work.
Dear God, enter me now. Fill me with one piece of true music.
That lady is back, sir.
Oh.
Well, where shall we go?
A little uncomfortable.
Should we stay here?
Did high society women back in the day really wear these elaborate costumes on a daily basis? Holy crap, nudity.
Show this woman out.
Dude, what just happened?
What is it? What's the matter? Tell me.
From now on, we are enemies.
And is denouncing God.
Because you choose for your instrument a boastful, lustful, smutty, infantile boy, and give me for reward only the ability to recognize the incarnation, I will hinder and harm your creature on earth as far as I am able. Mozart is not entirely to be trusted alone with young ladies.
Really?
His laugh might be the most iconic thing about him so far.
I must have pupils. Without pupils, I can't manage. They all want to hear me play, but they won't let me teach their daughters as if I was some kind of a fiend. I am working on something that is going to explode like a bombshell all over Europe. After that, I'll be the richest man in Vienna.
Tell me more.
Oh,
Stop it! Stop! He always howls when he hears music.
I think he's realizing he's being set up. Wow, look at the set as well. Like, this is a big set. His dad is being framed in black. Now I'm thinking whether his laughter is a nervous tick.
people love me here.
They say you have debts.
Ooh, rumors.
Ooh. Let's go dancing. Papa loves parties, don't you?
Wolfie.
What? How can you be so boring?
Such a disapproving father. He's almost controlling of his son.
Thank you.
I've got to have a penalty!
Well, it is impressive.
Play Salieri.
Now that is a challenge.
Dude is outright teasing him publicly.
That was not Mozart laughing, Father. That was God.
That's what he believes. God is making fun of him.
Yes?
I was asked to come here and offer my services to you.
Is this your idea, Papa?
This is ridiculous.
What is ridiculous? Wolfie has many admirers in Vienna.
So now we're gonna let a perfect stranger into our house.
They're out every night, sir.
Oh,
thank you, sir.
It was Salieri all along.
Do any pupils come to the house?
It's a spy, pretty much. This is beautiful music. I have to admit, I only heard a couple of Mozart's symphonies. Wow, look at the set. It has to be a big budget film for sure, because everything looks so beautiful.
In there, sir?
Poor girl. She's being used. I wasn't too convinced of the actor playing Mozart, but he's definitely grown on me.
He's setting that play to music.
Yes.
It has been banned by the Emperor.
Are you aware that I have declared the French play of Figaro unsuitable for our theater? Yet we hear you're making an opera from it. Is this true? When I do, I have good reason My own dear sister, Antoinette, writes me that she is beginning to be frightened of her own people.
Oh, it is Marie Antoinette.
It's so new that people will go mad for it. I have scenes. Just let me tell you how it begins. On the beat.
20.
Good.
30.
Yes.
What a beautiful theater. He can't believe his sabotage didn't work.
I think we should help Mozart all we can.
What are you doing here, director? What are you doing?
Taking out what you should never have put in.
What is it?
Oh,
It's unbelievable.
he's coming for help from the man who set him up in the first place.
Please, can't you talk to me? I don't need to tell you. I said nothing, whatever.
I love how he's just confessing it to the priest.
You like this? Well, look at them.
Peter, bring the palisade back in, please.
The choreography's been so good too. I don't find a single criticism of the film at all.
It's astounding.
Through all the jealousy, you can see his love for music shining through.
I heard the music of true forgiveness filling the theater, making my defeat more bitter with every passing bar.
How do you portray admiration and disgust at the same time? That's what Abraham is doing as Salieri.
Do you know what happened?
A miracle.
With that yawn, I saw my defeat turn into a victory.
His Majesty didn't like it?
And Mozart was lucky the Emperor yawned only once. 3 yawns. And the opera would fail the same night.
9 performances. 9, that's all it's had.
But I thought it was his best work. He only got, what, 9 performances?
Did you like it at all?
I thought it was marvelous.
Of course. Why didn't they come?
I think you overestimate our dear Viennese, my friend. Do you know you didn't even give them a good bang at the end of songs? To let them know when to clap.
He's telling him that the average person is not that musically inclined. Well, it was good.
It is the best opera yet written, my friends.
Wow, that's a big honor.
Did my work please you?
I never knew that the music like that was possible.
Your father is dead.
Oh.
So rose the dreadful ghost from his next and blackest opera.
Okay, he wrote this piece almost like a tribute to his father?
Only I understood that the horrifying apparition was Leopold, raised from the dead.
Leopold as in King Leopold? Yeah, this is a darker sound.
Terrifying and wonderful to watch.
He's showing his father to be a towering figure, almost a darkness over his life.
The madness began in me. Through my influence, I saw to it Don Giovanni was played only 5 times in Vienna. But in secret, I went to every one of those 5.
Wow. He's so jealous of his brilliance that he attended all 5 shows. And it's only 5 shows, which isn't considered a major success.
And as I stood there, understanding how that bitter old man was still possessing his poor son, even from beyond the grave.
I love how the music just climaxed.
I have come to commission work from you. A mass for the dead.
What dead? Who is dead?
A man who deserved a requiem mass and never got one. Do you accept?
Is this Salieri?
Work fast. And be sure, tell no one what you do.
A secret commission. I wish I understood classical music better. but I really don't. But I can appreciate it.
But it terrified me.
It was him. It was Salieri.
I must achieve his death. A great mass of death.
That's crazy.
Requiem Mass for Wolfgang Mozart.
Written by the man himself.
Composed by his devoted friend, Antonio Salieri.
Oh, he plans to steal the work.
I, for once, in the end, laughing at him.
By stealing his work, my man. But does he kill him with his own hands though? His work is being celebrated, which kind of makes him happy, but on the other hand, I see him drinking more and more.
How much will you pay him?
Well, I see you brought your manager with you. How about half the receipts?
Ooh, that's a generous offer.
We need money now. Either he pays you now or you don't do
Oh,
it.
Stanzi! Is my pupil still interested in learning the art of music?
Oh no, he came back.
Your pupil is married and living in Mannheim, young man.
It's almost like his father is still looking after him, almost controlling him from beyond the grave.
You know what's ridiculous? Your libretto, that's what's ridiculous.
Oh? It's no use to anybody in your head. To hell with your death mass.
I'm frightened. I'm very, very frightened.
Are you sure it's an opera?
Not a requiem. Yeah, this time I'm not laughing with his crazy laugh because he's really losing it by now. He still thinks his father has power over him, and it's almost like he's mocking him.
I don't have it yet.
Are you neglecting my request?
Why on earth won't you finish? Can you give me one reason I can understand?
It's killing me.
You're drunk, aren't you? Be honest, tell me you've been drinking.
Music is the only way Mozart can express what he's feeling.
Stanzi.
Oh no, don't tell me his wife left him. That would be the last straw. This is the final nail in the coffin, isn't it?
I was shocked. Shocked to my foundation when I saw her. I warned her. Choose a man, not a baby, I said.
I think I've heard this piece of music before. What is Salieri thinking?
I'd live like a prince without thinking.
Pick him up. Pick him up!
It's so sad that Mozart still doesn't see Salieri's betrayal. Again, I have to look up how much of this story is true.
You were the only colleague of mine who came.
Mozart, I would never miss anything you had written. You are the greatest composer known to me.
Well, it's one truth.
Tell him to go away.
Oh, it's the actor.
He's all right, though. Oh, yes, he's just exhausted.
Oh, give him this. That's his share. That's your chip.
Don't hand it to Salieri, dude. Mozart thought he was the masked man. He's not going to give him the money, is he?
He said to give you this. And if you finish the work by tomorrow night...
It's too soon.
He's going to work himself to death. That's the plan.
I feel wrong being here.
You have me. Second measure, fourth beat.
Yes. Yes, I understand. Yes, yes.
This is a pretty extended scene. They have been working through the night. It's already morning.
Will you stay with me while I sleep a little?
I'm not leaving you.
Masquerading as a friend.
I thought you did not care for my work. Or me.
Oh man, Stancy's back.
I don't want you here. Just go.
Yeah, she has clear reasons to dislike him.
I'm back. No, Wolfie, not this. It's making him ill.
But...
Good for you, Stancy, for recognizing it.
Wolfie. Wolfie?
Holy crap, he's dead. He successfully worked him to death.
Wolfie!
Oh man, is this how the great Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart died? I wonder, is this why history doesn't remember you as much as Wolfgang? Poor girl. But I'm still a little confused as to what killed him. Was it some disease or was it overworking? And he's laughing about it. He's probably driven himself mad.
He killed Mozart and kept me alive to torture. My music growing fainter. His.
In the 30 years, Mozart's reputation has grown, whereas his has been forgotten. I'm in the same position as this priest. What the F did I just watch and hear?
Mediocrities everywhere. I absolve you.
His laugh is the last thing we hear. Wow. What a fantastic movie. This has to be one of the best period pieces I've ever seen. Thank you for the recommendation, guys. I needed to see something completely different, and this film delivered. Okay, I took some time to collect my thoughts. First off, that was brilliant. What an amazing film. I've only read about Mozart, but I don't believe I've seen him portrayed on screen before. This was probably one of the best period films I've ever seen. Milos Forman directed the heck out of this film. Both the leads, F. Murray Abraham and Tom Hulce, were amazing in their roles. And honestly, I have zero criticisms of the film overall. At first, I thought the movie might be too slow or paced incorrectly, but I'm glad to have been wrong. Very wrong. The direction and writing were beyond excellent. The acting was sublime, the music itself was awe-inspiring, and the sets, props, and costumes. In fact, the entire production was of the highest caliber. This was a classic through and through. Let's start with the directing by Milos Forman and the script by Peter Shaffer. I had to look it up, and it turns out the movie was based on a play written by Shaffer himself. No wonder why it was so well written and adapted for screen. I'm going to be reviewing this film from this cut's perspective. I'd like to know the differences compared to the theatrical cut though. Please let me know in the comments because I can't see a single scene being cut from the finished product. The movie was structured beautifully, almost layered. What I mean by that is that the film was a flashback inside a historical setting. Essentially, it felt like a study in jealousy, of how envy can drive someone to destroy somebody else's life. The question I keep asking myself is how accurate this film was to real history. How much creative liberty was taken since the events we saw were quite extraordinary. Was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart such a goofball in real life? Was he really this eccentric? Did he really like butt and poop jokes this much? I mean, we got like 10 or 15 of them throughout the 3 hours. That was fascinating because I always pictured him as an aristocrat, almost a high society member. Turns out he was living under his father's shadow. That was the cause of a lot of his depression. His father was still in control of his life after he passed away. He had a very supporting wife though, Stancy, and the fact that they were faithful to each other went a long way in my books. Let's talk about that unusual laugh. At first, I just pegged his laugh as him being a goofball, but that laugh evolved as the story went along. By the end, it was almost manic, as he seemed to lose his sanity. I'm still not sure exactly what killed him though. Was it being overworked, like a circus animal that Salieri mentioned at the beginning of the film? Or was it something else? Do let me know. Mozart, the Man, was a fascinating character study of genius and the price that comes with it. Although endowed with natural talent, he was rather brash and almost uncultured as a man in his private life. He was pretty vulgar too with those butt jokes. I could see a lot of parallels with other geniuses, as the other aspects of their lives suffered because of the burden they had to carry. The burden of genius in this case. His transformation from a lovable goofball, talented lovable goofball, to an overworked, broke, depressed madman was amazingly portrayed by Tom Hulce. Please correct me if my pronunciation is wrong, as I don't believe I've seen any of his other films before. I honestly wasn't convinced of his performance the first time we saw Mozart on screen, but by the end, that man completely won me over. He had incredible range, and I'll be looking up his other performances for sure. He played Mozart with such care and detail, it's hard to explain. Although Mozart was fairly famous when he was alive, he sadly died broke to be buried in a mass grave. I think his work grew in fame after he was dead, like a lot of famous people, which was cleverly pointed out by Salieri in one of the final scenes. And speaking of Salieri, F. Murray Abraham deserved all the awards in the world, bringing him to life. From admiration to jealousy to scheming to vengeance and finally acceptance of God hating him. Abraham showed the entire range of emotions in this film. Although I hated the man by the end of the film, I have to commend Abraham for bringing out so much emotions from me. I have to question again how accurately his jealousy was portrayed in this film, because even if half of what was shown was true, that's truly crazy. Sometimes fact is stranger than fiction, and this film was a testament to that notion. Finally, we have to talk about the confession. This whole film was structured around this confession. Did Salieri really kill Mozart? Was he truly responsible? He might not have stuck the knife in himself, but he went out of his way to make sure he was a failure. Over and over again, we saw Salieri sabotage Mozart in various different ways. In the end, when Mozart was taken to his home, presumably for overexhaustion, I think Salieri intentionally kept him awake and kept him working with the promise of money. That envy. What a terrible thing to do. And we don't even see an ounce of regret for his actions, because as he was being taken away in his wheelchair at the end, he almost seemed proud of his actions, defiant in the face of God. Top tier writing and directing. I think rewatching this after a couple of months will give me more insights and perspective for this work of art. The cinematography of this film was absolutely gorgeous. Every single scene was set up like a painting, and the fact that most of the shot compositions were very linear and still, static, was a great reflection of high society around that time, I think. The way Forman used natural light, especially candlelight, to brighten up the darker scenes was inspired. He took quite some time to tell his story though, and at 3 hours, I really didn't feel like it was that long. It was paced so well. I guess the film was so smooth flowing that I completely didn't notice the time go by. And that's what I have to say about the editing here. It was flawless, and I felt like it was perfectly paced. Some of the transitions were done so well, how the camera moved from scene to scene so naturally. and effortlessly. It was brilliant. I really can't put my finger on it, but I can tell you how I felt, which was amazed. The music of this film was honestly beyond my understanding. I found it absolutely beautiful. At least I can appreciate it on a superficial level. I'm clearly not well versed in classical music to be judging these symphonies, especially the ones by Mozart himself, but I have to say they really moved me. I really wanted to listen to more of it and understand it. Most of the operas were either in Italian or German, but I didn't feel that there was a language barrier. The tone of the melody is what really drove the emotions for me. And if I'm bold enough to say, I felt like that in itself is the essence of the opera. One last thing to note about the music is the lack of it when Mozart finally dies. For a film filled with classical music to convey emotions, that scene stood out to me like a needle in a haystack. I think it was clearly symbolic, almost showing that the music died with him in the end. The sets and costume design of this film, they were some of the best I've ever seen. Every single costume was period appropriate and on point. The sets were amazing, and it really transported me to 18th century Europe. Like I mentioned before, they looked like paintings. The theaters themselves looked majestic, and the props used in them were so well made that I was questioning whether they were real antiques or made for the movie. It was that good. Anyway, I don't have any criticisms of this film whatsoever. It was perfect for what it was. And as Mozart puts it himself, how can you change something that's already perfect? Overall, Amadeus was a once-in-a-generation classic, one of the best period films I've witnessed, and I'd go as far as to say one of the best put on screen ever. The performances from F. Murray Abraham and Tom Hulce were probably the best of their careers. Milos Forman cemented himself as one of the greats, at least in my books. The study of genius and jealousy was perfectly shown. You just have to sit back in awe at its brilliance. Everything from a production standpoint was amazing too. Thank you so much for making me watch this classic. Films like this are rare and far between. I don't think modern studios make these epic art pieces anymore. It's not profitable for them. What a shame. What a shame. I love this film. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon for instant notifications. Do check out my other videos. Like if you like this video. Dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one. Bye.